before I go even further, this is the crankshaft. I had to replace this crankshaft because, and for it, I want y'all to pay very close attention here. This is the reason why that tick in the 5.0s is literally going down. It's not necessarily because of a phaser, but what happened was this, and it's always bad when somebody starts a conversation like that. But what went down was, as you can see, between cylinder one, this is cylinder one right here. This is cylinder five. Um, 2, 6, 3, 7, 5, or 4, 8, blah blah blah. Anyway, um, the bearing, the connector rod bearing, initiated. I don't know if it was low oil pressure or what. And I started noticing low oil pressure when I got my car back from CarMax. But nonetheless, there was something that caused the connector rod bearing and the crankshaft to have too much friction, which the connector rod bearing emaciated, got super thin, had my piston just going ham in the motor, and it basically threw off the timing of my motor, and I had to pull the thing out of my Mustang. Yeah, so nonetheless, instead of just having to turn in the car, I pulled it out. I might eventually have a turn and refinish and everything like that, but I went ahead and put a new stock OEM uh, crankshaft in this Mustang, and from this point, it's smooth as a baby. I mean, it's so smooth. But now we're putting on the your oil pump housing, and I'm about to restart putting this back together. I know they do a really great job on the oil pump housing. Don't judge me on that paint. I just wanted to see what it looked like. It's not going to be shown anyway, so bite me. But nonetheless, I am starting the rebuild process, and I'm just putting this key or this socket in here or this bolt in here real quick to turn this to show you how smooth this thing is. I'm really, one thing I can say about this, y'all, is when you are putting, when you're doing some rebuild of some nature like this to your cars, it always helps to go OEM. Just putting this in here to hold it in place. It always pays to go OEM. Look, I went ahead and tried to get my bearings off of eBay. Yeah, that didn't work out well at all. I ended up spending double the amount of money because I thought I was going out a cheaper route by going on eBay and getting my parts this way. No, please take your butt to Ford, or if you, I don't know if any GMs or any Chryslers have this issue, but wherever your manufacturer is, please go to your manufacturer and do not cause yourself more of a headache than what it needs to be. Because simply like this, if I would have took the time to go to Ford at first, I'd be a lot further ahead in the game about this whole thing than I am now. And that's just being brutally honest. That's not saying anything bad about any other manufacturer per se, but it's just being 100. Get your parts from the dealer. Get your OEM parts. Get your parts. Got all the bolts in. Get your parts from where they need to go to, where they came from. OEM, especially. When you're dealing with a newer motor, you want to get that stuff right. So, we'll be starting up a new little shop and stuff here in a little bit called Lightspeed Automotive. But nonetheless, and I will, people ain't got any questions about this, I will be more than happy to answer these questions. But nonetheless, with new bearings, OEM bearings from Ford Motor Company, part number, I think the bearer code was 6211 out of all the other apples, oranges, and all other crap that, they have in those part numbers. 6211 is the stock part number for a standard bearing for the 5.0 Coyote. Alright, so with those bearings new and improved in here, as you can see, cylinder 5 and cylinder 1, great. Smooth as the baby's ass. As long as I don't sit here and lose my handle on my torque wrench. Nonetheless, I put a little oil down here just to make sure that none of my walls get seized up or scratched up or anything of that nature by the pistons. But we have resolved. We found out what was the issue with the 5.0 tick. It's not just your conventional phaser. It was, in this case scenario, a spunt bearing. What they call, you had a spunt bearing. It was a spunt bearing. And I wouldn't be surprised at a lot, especially with these motors being aluminum. I would not be surprised that a lot of, when people have oil issues, whether it be oil leaks or they don't change their oil on time and the oil gets really thin and it messes up the motor. With these aluminum motors, they have to take into consideration, with the quality of their motor or the quality of the product that Ford puts out. They have to take into consideration. Not everybody changes their oil on the right, in the right increments of time, or, they push it, a couple thousand over, 1,000 over, which is really bad. But, they say when I first started reading up on this motor, even before I bought my Mustang, don't judge me. I read up and they said in this one article you can go up to 5,000 miles without changing the oil. Look, this motor runs off of 5W20 motor oil, which is already thin. It's all crap out anyway. Do not run this thing past 3,000 in between increments on getting your oil done, your oil change. Go ahead and get as close to that 3,000 mile marker or a 1 month period or a 3 month period that you can. It's either 3 months or 3,000 miles. Whichever one comes first. These aluminum motors, they're not built like the cast iron ones. They're not. It's not the same. The internals are not the same. They're not made from the same metal. So when you risk things like that, you can get spunt bearings and crankshafts to look like that, statistic on the ground over there. But to all you F-150 people, Mustang folk, anybody that's rocking a 5.0 liter or your 4.6s, you might want to visit this scenario. I know this is extreme because I have my motor out and upside down. But, at the end of the day, this is the all end result of that stupid tick. Again, Ford, I would love for you guys to give me any feedback that you may possibly have about this. Any questions or concerns that you may have for me or any tips or anything that you found out, because this is not just me that has this issue. It's